In the quiet rush of moments, an unspoken truth always waits. But to embrace it is to find an unexpected, vibrant clarity. The dance with mortality is one we all share. Memento Mori does not offer an escape from this dance, but rather a way to learn its steps with grace, purpose, and a profound appreciation for the music while it lasts. So, the question remains for each of us. Knowing our time is finite, how then shall we choose to live? Consider the weight of unspoken words, of dreams deferred too long, the fragility of each dawn, the impermanence of every sunset's glow. We build our lives on foundations we often forget are temporary. What if this knowledge wasn't meant to paralyze, but to liberate, to strip away the trivial, revealing the core of authentic purpose? Imagine the courage found when lesser fears simply fall away. The profound gratitude for breath, for connection for the now. This is not about morbidity, it's about intensified, vibrant living. A principle whispered by Stoics, monks, artists, and quiet sages. It is the fleeting dance of existence, a finite, precious gift. Memento Mori, remember that you will inevitably pass from here. This simple phrase holds a universe of transformative potential within it. It asks not for despair, but for a conscious, deliberate engagement. How would your priorities shift if today was sharply defined? What superficial anxieties would lose their suffocating, powerful grip now? The unnecessary burdens we carry, lightened by this ultimate perspective. Each moment then is not just past, but truly inhabited. Love expressed more freely, kindness offered without any hesitation. The fierce urgency of now, not born of panic but purpose. To sculpt a life rich in meaning, not just accumulated possessions. Each tick of the cosmic clock echoes with profound, ancient brevity. This ancient directive is a call to authentic, vibrant awakening. It is the art of dying well by first learning to live well. A lens that clarifies values, magnifies joys, and dissolves pettiness. The ultimate rebellion against a culture of endless, mindless distraction. To face mortality is not to invite darkness, but to treasure light. It's about recognizing the profound beauty in our shared, brief journey. This wisdom doesn't diminish life. It makes every single moment count. The quiet power of remembering fuels a life of fearless presence. So let us explore this potent philosophy, ancient yet urgently relevant. Uncover how this simple reminder can profoundly reshape your entire world. A shadow of awareness, often unacknowledged, stretches long behind us. Prepare to see your life, your time, your choices anew. Memento Mori, two Latin words translating to remember you will die. This ancient maxim, far from being a morbid fixation on death, is a profound philosophical tool designed to awaken us to life. It is an invitation to live with intention, to cherish the present, and to cultivate an appreciation for the finite beauty of our existence. Its echoes are found across cultures and centuries, a persistent whisper reminding humanity of its shared, ultimate fate. The philosophy of Stoicism, flourishing in ancient Greece and Rome, championed Memento Mori as a cornerstone of wisdom and virtue. Thinkers like Seneca, Epictetus, and the Roman Emperor Marcus Aurelius frequently meditated on mortality. They saw it not as a source of fear, but as a rational lens through which to view life's challenges, to diminish anxieties about trivial matters, and to focus on what truly lies within our control: our thoughts, our actions, our character. A common misconception is that contemplating death leads to sadness or despair. However, practitioners of Memento Mori argue the opposite. By acknowledging life's impermanence, we are spurred to savor its sweetness more fully. The awareness of our limited time can transform routine moments into precious experiences, fostering a deep gratitude for the simple act of being alive, for relationships, and for the beauty that surrounds us each day. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, wrote, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't a call to recklessness, but to authenticity. The constant awareness of our mortality acts as a powerful filter, helping us to distinguish between the essential and the trivial, the meaningful and the superficial. It urges us to live in accordance with our deepest values, rather than societal pressures or fleeting desires. This confrontation with finitude is not about dwelling on the end, but about enriching the journey. It's a mental framework that encourages us to ask, if my time were limited, how would I act? What would I prioritize? Who would I become? The answers to these questions, illuminated by the shadow of mortality, can guide us towards a more purposeful and fulfilling existence, lived with greater courage and intention. Seneca, a prominent Stoic philosopher, advised his friend Lucilius to rehearse death. He suggested imagining one's final moments, not to induce terror, but to rob death of its unfamiliarity and thus its power to intimidate. By becoming familiar with the idea of our end, we can live more freely, unburdened by the pervasive, often unacknowledged fear of it, allowing us to engage more fully and bravely with life's opportunities and challenges. Epictetus, another Stoic sage, taught that we should remember the transient nature of all things, even those we love most dearly. When kissing your child, he suggested, remember they are mortal. This sounds harsh, but its aim is to deepen appreciation for the present moment with loved ones, rather than taking them for granted. It's a call to love more fully and consciously, aware of the preciousness of shared time. The core insight of Memento Mori is that life gains its profound value precisely because it is finite. An infinite existence might lead to endless procrastination and a dilution of meaning, but knowing our time is limited imbues each day with potential significance. It encourages us to make conscious choices about how we spend our energy, our attention, and our precious, unrepeatable moments on this earth. This practice helps to dismantle the illusion of our own permanence, an illusion that can lead to complacency or a focus on trivial pursuits. When we truly internalize that our time is not guaranteed, the urgency to live authentically, to pursue our true calling, and to contribute meaningfully to the world becomes not just an idea, but a deeply felt imperative. Petty grievances and distractions lose their power. This silent companion is not a curse, but a potent key. Ultimately, for the Stoics, remembering death was not about pessimism. It was a vital ingredient in the recipe for eudaimonia, a state of human flourishing, of living a good, virtuous, and fulfilling life. It was a daily exercise to ensure that one lived in accordance with nature, reason, and virtue, making the most of their allotted span, however long or short it might be. One of the primary benefits of Memento Mori is its power to clarify our priorities. When faced with the finite nature of our existence, the superficial concerns that often consume our daily lives tend to fade into insignificance. What truly matters, our relationships, our personal growth, our impact on others, our core values, comes sharply into focus. It's like a compass that always points towards true north. The accumulation of wealth beyond need, the pursuit of fleeting fame, or the anxieties about social status appear trivial when viewed through the lens of mortality. Memento Mori encourages us to invest our limited time and energy in what provides lasting meaning and fulfillment, rather than chasing ephemeral rewards that ultimately leave us empty. It helps us edit our life's ambitions down to their essential, soulful core. This clarity allows us to make more conscious decisions. Do I take this job for the money, or does it align with my purpose? Do I spend this evening scrolling or connecting with someone I love? Memento Mori doesn't dictate the answers, but it forces us to ask the right questions, questions that guide us towards a life lived with fewer regrets and more authentic joy. By regularly contemplating our end, we learn to prioritize experiences over possessions, character over accolades, and meaningful connections over superficial acquaintances. This shift in focus can lead to a profound sense of liberation, freeing us from the endless pursuit of more, and allowing us to find contentment in the richness of a life well lived, according to our own, deeply considered values. This process of prioritization isn't a one-time event, but an ongoing practice. Like sharpening a blade, regularly returning to the thought of Memento Mori keeps our discernment keen, ensuring that as life unfolds with its myriad distractions and demands, we remain anchored to what we have identified as most fundamental to our well-being and purpose. Another significant benefit is the reduction of fear, particularly the fear of trivialities and, paradoxically, even the fear of death itself. When we consistently acknowledge mortality, the daily anxieties that plague us, fear of failure, fear of judgment, fear of minor inconveniences, shrink in comparison to this ultimate, inescapable reality. They lose their power to dominate our thoughts and paralyze our actions. As Seneca noted, "He who fears death will never do anything worthy of a man who is alive." Constant fear constricts our lives, preventing us from taking necessary risks, pursuing bold dreams, or speaking our truth. Memento Mori, by familiarizing us with the concept of our end, acts as an antidote to this pervasive anxiety, allowing us to live more expansively and courageously. Furthermore, by confronting the idea of death regularly, it becomes less of a terrifying unknown and more of a natural, accepted part of life's cycle. This doesn't mean we become cavalier about death, but rather that its inevitability no longer holds the same paralyzing grip. This acceptance can free up enormous amounts of mental and emotional energy previously consumed by fear and denial. Imagine the freedom of making decisions not out of fear, but out of aspiration. Imagine approaching challenges not with trepidation, but with a calm resolve, knowing that many of the things we worry about are insignificant in the grand scheme of our finite existence. This is the liberating power that comes from looking death in the eye and choosing to truly live. Civilizations past understood its weight, its paradoxical, clarifying power. This doesn't mean suppressing emotions or denying the natural grief that comes with loss. Rather, it's about contextualizing our fears. By understanding that our time is precious and limited, we are less likely to squander it on anxieties that do not serve our ultimate well-being or purpose, freeing us to engage more fully with the present. Memento Mori is also a powerful catalyst for cultivating gratitude. When we are keenly aware that our life, our health, our relationships, and even the simple beauties of the world are not permanent fixtures, we begin to appreciate them with a new intensity. The mundane can become magical when viewed through the lens of its potential absence. Each breath, each sunrise, each moment of connection becomes a gift. Instead of taking for granted the people in our lives, Memento Mori encourages us to cherish their presence, to express our love and appreciation more openly and frequently. The thought that any interaction could be our last with someone, or theirs with us, motivates us to make those interactions count, to resolve conflicts, and to prioritize kindness and understanding. This heightened appreciation extends beyond relationships to the world around us. The beauty of nature, the pleasure of learning, the satisfaction of creative work, all these experiences gain a deeper resonance when we remember they are fleeting. Gratitude shifts our focus from what we lack to the abundance that already surrounds us, fostering contentment and joy. This gratitude is not a passive sentiment. It can be an active force. It can inspire us to protect what we value, to contribute to the well-being of others, and to engage with life more fully and generously. Remembering that all things pass can paradoxically fill us with a desire to leave a positive mark, however small, on the world. By fostering this deep sense of thankfulness, Memento Mori helps to counteract the hedonic treadmill, the tendency to quickly adapt to positive changes, always seeking the next source of pleasure. Instead, it anchors us in appreciation for the present, making us richer in experience and contentment, regardless of external circumstances. Life itself becomes the treasure. The awareness of our mortality is also a powerful wellspring of purposeful action and a sense of urgency. Knowing that our time is finite can ignite a desire to make the most of it, to pursue goals that align with our deepest values, and to avoid procrastination on matters of true importance. It's the ultimate motivator to stop waiting and start living the life we envision. Steve Jobs, in his famous Stanford commencement address, spoke of how remembering he would soon be dead was the most important tool he encountered to help him make big choices in life. He said, "Almost everything, all external expectations, all pride, all fear of embarrassment or failure. These things just fall away in the face of death, leaving only what is truly important. This urgency is not a frantic, anxious rushing, but rather a focused, intentional application of energy. It helps us to say no to distractions and commitments that don't serve our purpose, and yes to opportunities for growth, connection, and contribution. It transforms someday into today, encouraging us to take meaningful action now. Think of a project you've been postponing, a conversation you've been avoiding, or a skill you've longed to develop. Memento Mori provides the spark to begin. It reminds us that the opportunity to act is not infinite. This realization can overcome inertia and inspire us to create, to learn, to love, and to live with a greater sense of vitality and engagement. They whispered of it in stone, in script, in solemn ritual. This sense of purpose, fueled by the awareness of our finitude, can lead to a life of greater impact and legacy. Not necessarily a legacy of fame or fortune, but a legacy of kindness, of wisdom shared, of positive influence on the lives we touch. It's about living in such a way that our brief time here matters, both to ourselves and to others. While prominently featured in Stoicism, the practice of memento mori is not exclusive to this school of thought. Similar contemplative traditions exist across various cultures and religions, all recognizing the transformative power of meditating on mortality. In Christianity, for example, the Ars Moriendi, or Art of Dying Well, texts guided believers to prepare for a good death, which paradoxically instructed them on how to live a virtuous life. The Christian concept of vanitas art, particularly popular in the 16th and 17th centuries, served as a visual memento mori. These still life paintings were rich with symbolism. Skulls, hourglasses, wilting flowers, and extinguished candles all reminded viewers of the transience of life, the futility of earthly pleasures, and the inevitability of death, urging a focus on spiritual matters. In Tibetan Buddhism, meditations on death and impermanence are central practices. The Lajong teachings, or mind training, include slogans like contemplate the uncertainty of the hour of death. The aim is not to become morbid, but to develop detachment from worldly concerns, cultivate compassion, and live each moment with mindful awareness, preparing for a conscious transition. The Tibetan Book of the Dead offers guidance for this very journey. The samurai warriors of feudal Japan lived by the code of Bushido, which emphasized a constant awareness of death. By accepting the possibility of dying at any moment, a samurai could transcend fear and act with decisiveness, loyalty, and honor. This acceptance of mortality was believed to lead to a more vibrant and focused appreciation of life, beauty, and the present moment. Even in ancient Egypt, the elaborate preparations for the afterlife and the rich iconography of their tombs, as seen in the Book of the Dead, underscored a profound preoccupation with mortality. While focused on passage to the next world, this awareness invariably shaped their understanding and valuation of life itself, emphasizing order, justice, and the actions that would weigh favorably in the final judgment. Throughout history, art has been a powerful medium for exploring memento mori. Beyond vanitas paintings, the dance macabre, or dance of death, was a popular allegorical motif in late medieval Europe. Skeletons were depicted dancing with people from all walks of life, popes, emperors, peasants, children, emphasizing that death is the great equalizer, sparing no one regardless of status. Skulls and skeletons became common symbols in art and on tombstones, not merely to frighten, but to remind the living of their own mortality and the importance of living a meaningful, virtuous life. These symbols were a public and personal exhortation to remember death, and in doing so, to remember how to truly live before one's own time came. Renaissance art often subtly wove memento mori themes into portraits and religious scenes. An hourglass, a wilting flower, a fly, or a skull tucked into a corner could serve as a quiet reminder of life's brevity amidst depictions of wealth, power, or beauty, prompting contemplation on the eternal versus the temporal. Holbein's The Ambassadors, with its anamorphic skull, is a prime example. Even poetry and literature across ages have grappled with this theme. From the Carpe Diem, Seize the Day, poems of Horace, urging enjoyment of life in the face of its shortness, to Shakespeare's meditations on time and decay in his sonnets, the human confrontation with mortality has been a perennial source of artistic inspiration, pushing us to consider how we spend our allotted days. A stark reminder, the sands of time fall for everyone equally. These artistic expressions were not just for passive viewing. They were intended to provoke active reflection in the observer. They served as cultural touchstones, continually re-injecting the wisdom of Memento Mori into public consciousness, encouraging individuals to pause their daily routines and consider the larger questions of life, death, and meaning. So, how can one practically incorporate Memento Mori into modern life, beyond philosophical understanding? One simple way is through daily reflection or meditation. Taking a few moments each day to consciously acknowledge your mortality can help recalibrate your perspective, reduce stress over trivialities, and enhance appreciation for the day ahead. Journaling is another powerful tool. Writing about your thoughts on mortality, what truly matters to you, and how you want to live your life can bring immense clarity. You might ask yourself, if I knew this was my last year, what would I do differently? What am I grateful for right now? What legacy do I want to leave? Symbolic reminders can also be effective. Historically, people kept skulls or objects with memento mori imagery on their desks. In a modern context, this could be a subtle piece of art, a specific screensaver, a small token, or even a recurring calendar notification. The symbol itself is less important than its power to trigger a moment of mindful reflection. Engaging with nature and observing its cycles of growth, decay, and renewal can be a profound memento mori practice. The changing seasons, the life cycle of a plant, or even stargazing and contemplating the vastness of the cosmos can put our own finite existence into a larger, more humbling perspective, fostering acceptance and awe. Finally, practicing negative visualization, a Stoic technique, involves imagining losing things you value: your health, your loved ones, your possessions. This is not to dwell on negativity, but to cultivate gratitude for what you currently have and to prepare emotionally for life's inevitable changes and losses, thereby appreciating them more fully in the present. In our contemporary world, saturated with distractions and fixated on eternal youth and endless progress, the ancient wisdom of Memento Mori feels more relevant and necessary than ever. We are often encouraged to avoid thoughts of death, to see it as a failure or a taboo subject, rather than an integral and natural part of life. This cultural denial can lead to a shallow existence, lived in fear of aging and an unpreparedness for loss. Memento Mori offers a courageous alternative: to live with eyes wide open to the full spectrum of human experience, including its conclusion. This awareness doesn't diminish joy, it refines and deepens it, making our joys more precious because they are known to be transient. By embracing Memento Mori, we reclaim our attention from the noise of the trivial and redirect it towards what gives our lives meaning, purpose, and connection. It is an act of rebellion against a culture that often prioritizes the superficial over the substantial, the fleeting over the enduring. It's choosing to live a deliberate life. This practice can infuse our daily actions with a sense of sacredness. Knowing that each day is a unique, unrepeatable gift encourages us to treat it as such, to be more present, more compassionate, more courageous, and more grateful. It helps us to build a life that, when the end does come, we can look back on with peace and a sense of completion. To turn from this truth is to live in fractured light. Memento Mori is not a grim resignation to fate, but an empowering acceptance of reality that unlocks our potential for profound joy, deep meaning, and authentic living. It is the key to transforming our relationship with time, with ourselves, and with the very essence of what it means to be human, alive for this precious, finite span. Consider the profound shift in perspective. Challenges become opportunities for growth when time is seen as precious. Failures become lessons, not endpoints. Relationships are nurtured with greater care, knowing they are not guaranteed indefinitely. Each moment offers a chance to live in alignment with our deepest values, unswayed by the fear of eventual departure. This ancient practice is not about adding another task to a busy life, but about infusing all aspects of life with a deeper quality of awareness. It is a subtle, internal orientation that colors our choices, clarifies our intentions, and ultimately enriches our experience of being alive, transforming the ordinary into the extraordinary simply by acknowledging its impermanence. The fear of death often stems from the fear of an unlived life, a life filled with regrets, missed opportunities, and unspoken truths. Memento Mori directly addresses this by urging us to live so fully and authentically now that, when our time comes, we can meet it with equanimity, knowing we truly embrace the gift we were given. This isn't about achieving grand, heroic feats recognized by the world, unless that is your authentic calling. More often, it's about the quiet heroism of daily presence, kindness, integrity, and the courage to be true to oneself in a world that often pulls us in countless other directions. It's about the quality of our attention to our own brief, unique existence. To remember death is therefore to choose life, consciously and deliberately every single day. It is to savor the taste of existence, to feel its textures, to hear its music, and to participate in its dance with open eyes and an open heart, knowing that the performance is fleeting, and therefore all the more precious and beautiful. So, the wisdom of Memento Mori, passed down through centuries, offers us a profound gift: the understanding that acknowledging our mortality is not a morbid burden, but a liberating truth. It provides a powerful lens through which to reevaluate our priorities, finding clarity amidst the noise of modern existence. It teaches us that by confronting our greatest fear, the fear of death, we can diminish the power of lesser anxieties, freeing ourselves to live with greater courage, authenticity, and purpose. This ancient practice empowers us to step away from the trivial and invest our precious, finite time in what truly nourishes the soul. Furthermore, Memento Mori cultivates a profound sense of gratitude for the present moment, for our relationships, and for the simple gift of being. It urges us not to procrastinate on what matters, but to act with a gentle urgency, making each day count towards a life rich in meaning and connection, rather than mere duration. This is not a philosophy of despair, but one of profound engagement and vibrant appreciation. By remembering that we will die, we are paradoxically given the most powerful incentive to truly to live wisely, to love fully, and to leave this world having embraced its beauty and its challenges with an open heart and a courageous spirit.